Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this session. Again, my name is Meera Manwani, and I'm honored to be here for my third class with all of you. Outside of your yoga mat, we will again use 2 blocks today, so be good to go get that if you don't have it already. And then I want to talk about today. Happy International Women's Day. This is a global day that we use to celebrate the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. And this day really also marks a call to action for accelerating gender parity. There is always significant activity witnessed as worldwide groups come together, just like us here, to celebrate women's achievements and or rally for women's equality. So marked annually today, this is an auspicious day, March 8th. This is called International Women's Day, and one of the most important days of the year to celebrate all of our achievements, raise awareness about women's equality, lobby for that gender parity, and then fundraise for female-focused charities. So the theme of this year is choose to challenge, because a challenge world is an alert world. And then individually, we are all responsible for our own thoughts and actions all day and every day. So you may have seen the posts on LinkedIn or other social media sites, but if you really raise your hand here, this is committing to choosing to challenge and honoring all of the smart, hardworking, kind, compassionate women that are in your life. So raise your hand high to show that you're in this and you commit to this challenge, and really solemnly swear to call out inequality, call out bias, question those stereotypes, and really help forge an inclusive world. So with that in mind, let's head to the mat, and just let's start in a comfortable seated position. So you can start here in Indian style or Japanese style on your knees, whatever's more comfortable. And then let's start with your hands in Anjali Mudra at palm heart center, and with your eyes closed if possible. Let's set your intention for today. How are you going to honor Women's History Month? Or maybe it's just a practice set out for all of those wonderful women in your lives. And just to separate this time from the rest of that day that you've had, let's start this practice with one chant of the mantra Om. So taking a deep inhale. So just connecting with the universe there. You can slowly open your eyes and just start to be mindful of that breath. So we'll start here with just a gentle neck stretch. So if you want to bring your head over to the right side, slowly, mindfully. You don't want to jam it in there, but just feeling the stretch on the left side of your body, on the left shoulder. Again, just mindfully bringing your awareness to those inhales and exhales here. And then let's gently come over to the left side, bringing the head over to the left. You can use that left arm gently if you'd like. Again, feeling that stretch now on the right side, trying to keep that right shoulder down and just focusing on the breath. And slowly coming back to center, We'll just take some gentle circles with the neck now, perhaps inhaling on the way back, exhaling on the way forward. So just a couple in both directions. And like I said, so this year's theme, choosing to challenge, is a very interesting one. You can switch sides if you haven't already. So what I thought we would do in today's class is just do some more challenging poses than we typically do. Again, just to reflect what we do on the mat in our real lives. Because we all know through challenge, when things are comfortable, that's when growth happens, not when we're comfortable. So if you're with me, let's all choose to get uncomfortable tonight and start that change now. So from here, gently come back to center. And we'll just take a side stretch here. So if you want to bring your right arm next to you, inhale, and let's bring the left arm up, relaxing the shoulders, taking a deep inhale, and on the exhale, fold over to the right side. So here you can leave your hand on the ground, you can bring your shoulder, your elbow on the ground, but just again, feeling this deep stretch on the left side of your body. Always coming back to the breath. Taking a deep inhale here. And on the exhale, coming back to center. So this time, keeping your left palm on the ground. Inhaling the right arm up. Bringing the shoulders down, taking a deep inhale. And on the exhale, again, fold to the left side. Again, if you want to bring that elbow to the ground, you can. If you want to just keep only your palm, whatever feels comfortable to you. Again, feeling the stretch on the right side of the body. And then from here, taking a deep inhale. And on the exhale, coming back to center, neutral spine. So we'll do one twist here before we move on to cat-cow. So again, let's take the left arm, inhaling that up. And on the exhale, bring it to the right knee and twisting over to the right side. So you can inhale and lengthen that spine, exhale and twist, looking out the corner of your right eye to the back corner of the room. Coming back to the breath. Coming back to center. Again, taking a deep inhale, bringing the right arm up on the side of you. And on the exhale, bringing that over to the left side, left arm behind you. Feeling this gentle twist. On your inhales, you can lengthen that spine coming upwards. And on the exhale, gently twist. Looking out the corner of your left eye towards the back corner of your room. and then gently coming back to center. All right, so we'll come into cat cow next. I'll go on the side just so you can see the formation of the body. But again, just keeping the wrists right underneath the shoulders and the knees right below the hips. So onto all fours into this tabletop position. On the inhale, you want to arch your spine, looking forward. And on the exhales, round your spine, bringing your chin to your chest. So just focusing on the breath. Maybe do 4 or 5 on your own pace. Deep inhale and exhale. Just one more here. Deep inhale and exhale. So we're going to do some circles here with our knees. You can call it tabletop hip circles. So I'm going to start with my left leg just because it's in front. But if you lift your left leg up behind you, you can see that 90-degree angle. Open up that left knee to the side and then round it over. And just continue to draw these circles with your knees, almost like you're drawing a diagonal circle towards the back corner of the room. But here you should really be creating space in your hips, and you should feel very open when you're done with both sides of this. Always coming back to the breath. You can take this in both directions. Coming back to center, maybe wagging that tail. And then let's start with the other side. So again, if you're on the right leg, then gently bring that right leg up into that 90-degree angle. Open up that right knee and start drawing those circles towards the other corner of the room. You can reverse the circles. And then before we move forward, let's just sit down into child's pose for a quick counter stretch. Sitting between your heels, stretching your arms out as far as possible. You can give your forehead a gentle massage here if that feels good to you, and just relax. From here, let's come back to all fours into the same tabletop position. And we'll take an extended leg stretch here. So if you want to lift your right leg out behind you into that straight line, and then cross that over to the left side of your body. So it should go over that left leg. And then what you want to do is actually turn your body towards that right leg. So this should feel really good in that left hip area. This is an area we don't typically stretch out. So that's one of the goals in yoga, is to really remove all the stuck energy that you have in your body. So the more feeling and energy movement in all parts of your body, the better. So it's almost like a banana pose. You know, imagine that crescent or banana. And just the breath here. And then back to center. Extended leg stretch, coming back to all fours. If you want to wag that tail gently, hips from side to side. And we'll do the same with the left leg. So again, bringing that left leg straight out behind you. You can see that 90-degree angle. And then place that left leg across over that right leg or that right knee. And then you want to look to your right side back towards that left leg. Again, thinking about that banana or crescent pose. So you should feel this in the right hip and right side of the body. Again, just coming to the breath here. And then lifting that left leg back up behind you. Again, seeing that 90-degree angle. And then coming back to all fours into the tabletop position. Again, I'm just going to wag the tail here. And from there, we'll come up straight into downward facing dog. So just bringing all the weight onto your feet, equally on the hands. Since it's the first time we're here, you can pedal out your legs, one knee at a time, bending and straightening the other one. Pushing your hips high towards that back corner of your room. Trying to have equal weight all through your fingers. Trying to create that L position with your pointer and thumbs here. And again, a good chance to just focus on your breath. One of your greatest tools to get through yoga is your breath. Through any poses, any sequences. And then from here, you want to bend your knees, look between those palms, and then either walk or jump your feet to the front of the mat. Coming into this forward fold for the first time. Your legs can be straight or they can be bent, whatever's comfortable to you. Coming to a halfway lift. Coming back all the way down. And then lifting all the way back up to mountain pose. Bringing your arms back to heart center. And I'm just going to move my mats a little bit backwards so you can see. So from here, let's make this higher. Okay. So just bringing your feet together here. We're going to take a gentle shoulder stretch. So if you want to just inhale your arms up high to the ceiling. If you can interlock your fingers. And just take a slight back bend here. Again, breathing through the pose. This really opens up your shoulders. If you can relax them, keep them down. And then again, on your next inhale, lifting high, and on the exhale, let's bring both arms over to the right side. Keeping your fingers interlocked if possible. If that's too difficult, you can always bring them together to Anjali Mudra, to palms together. If you can keep them interlocked, it's great. Taking deep inhales and exhales. And then one more deep inhale here. Exhale, coming up, back to center. So again, taking a deep inhale towards the sky or the ceiling. On the next inhale, come over to the left side, feeling that stretch on the right side of the body. And then on your next exhale, coming back to center and palms all the way down. Mountain pose to the side. So we're going to go into just forward fold next. So if you want to bring your with your hands hips, you can, but just having your feet together, gently lower down. Maybe I'll do this to the side so you can see the back. Forward fold, and from here you can keep your hands on your hips if that's comfortable. You can keep them down to the floor. You can keep them on the elbows. Maybe just gently swaying from right to left here. Sinking down, just melting away everything today. Again, coming to the breath. Deep inhales, deep exhales. And then from here, just to do another shoulder stretch. So you want to release your arms and actually bring them behind you if you can. Interlock the fingers, bringing the shoulders back and down. This is a very good shoulder stretch. Should feel very open after this. Coming to the breath. And then from here, just melting into chair pose. So as if you're sitting in this imaginary chair, sinking down, bringing the arms out in front of you. You should have all the weight in your heels. Should be able to lift your toes up if you can. Again, just finding that breath, connecting with it. And then on your next inhale, let's come back up. Palms together, back to heart center. So what we'll do is we'll take a few of those last poses and put them together in a small flow. So like we'll just with our feet together, bringing your palms behind you, lifting, opening your chest to a slight back bend, coming all the way down into forward fold. On your exhale there. And on your next inhale, coming up into chair pose. And on the exhale, all the way down. So just doing this flow, maybe 4 times again. So inhaling, lifting, exhaling, coming into forward fold. Inhaling into chair pose. Exhaling back to mountain pose. 2 more times. Deep inhale, slight back bend. Exhaling into forward fold with the shoulder stretch. Inhaling into chair pose, how deep you can. Exhaling back to mountain pose. 1 more time. Deep inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, forward fold. Deep inhale into chair pose. And exhaling back to mountain pose. So we're going to go into a wide-legged flat back now. So we did a forward fold, but now if you just want to open up your legs with them as parallel to the front as possible, so they should be parallel to the sides of your mat. And we can start with your hands at your hips. And from here, just take a deep inhale again and lift. And on that exhale, coming down, getting into that flat back position. And so again, whatever's comfortable for you, if you want to stay here in this flat back, you can keep your hands here, or if you want to challenge yourself, you can bring the palms out in front of you. This is another opportunity if you want to use the block here. For some of you that are more flexible, you can bring your elbows onto the mat. I'm not there yet. But this should feel really good on your inner thighs, the back of your legs, those hamstrings. And then from here, just inhale and lengthen, look up, and then exhale and fold. Again, just melting away if there were any troubles of the day, hopefully not today. Connecting with that breath. Some people, if you can, bring the crown of your head all the way to the floor. I've seen that. Some people, they can bring their palms behind them. Whatever's comfortable for you. Again, inhaling and lengthening to that flat back. Exhale and fold. So we'll just go into some side stretches here. So let's just bring both arms over to the right side, outside of that right foot. Bringing that forehead as close to your right knee as possible. And make sure you're not sitting back too much. The weight should be equally planted between your right and left feet. And when you're ready, bring both arms to the sides of the left foot. Trying to, again, bring that forehead to your left knee. And then we're going to take a similar pose, but instead we're going to have our right knee bent. So a side lunge here with a twist. So you can bring the left arm over to the right foot and then bring the right arm behind you, looking towards it. If this is comfortable, you can stay here. You can open up that right arm behind you. Again, just continue to open up the right shoulder blade. Try to bring that heart towards the ceiling or sky. If it's in your practice, you can bring this right arm inside of your left thigh. Again, just connecting with your breath, knowing your limits, knowing where you could challenge yourself. And then from here, gently bring that right arm back on top of you, coming back to center, to that wide-legged flat back. And let's come to the other side. So bringing the right arm over to the left side. Again, bending that right knee and then opening up that left shoulder blade. Again, you can leave that arm straight up to the sky. You can put it in a bind behind you. You can bring it to the inside of that right thigh. You can keep it on the hip, whatever's comfortable for you. Just feeling this twist, feeling this opening, chest opening, shoulder opening, finding that breath. Your right leg should feel it on that inner thigh. And then once ready, coming back to neutral, back to the center, back to that wide-legged forward, flat back. And then from here, if you want to gently bring one arm to your hips, second arm to your hips, and then just one vertebra at a time, slowly coming back up. Very good. So we're going to go on to some sun salutations next. So I'm going to start to the side just so you can see the form. So coming to the front of your mat, palms in Anjali Mudra at heart center. Let's take a deep inhale, come up. A slight back bend, swan dive, coming all the way down to forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold, coming into plank. 4 limbs or 8 limbs pose. Cobra or up dog. All the way back up to downward facing dog. Imagine that inverted V. You're being pulled by that helium balloon high in the sky. And then when you're ready, bringing the right heel high behind you, deep inhale. And on the exhale, bringing the right foot forward, stepping into warrior one. So the left heel should be all the way down, grounded, planted. Your legs on 2 separate railroad tracks. For more of a challenge, you deepen your pose, bringing that knee above, your right knee above the right ankle. Finding your breath. And we're going to do a little conditioning here. So on your inhale, let's come up into this triangle, cactus arms. Inhale, exhale, back to warrior one. So do this a few times. Deep inhale, shoulders back. Exhale, warrior one. 2 more times. Deep inhale and exhale. And one more time. Deep inhale and exhale. So what we'll do from here is we're going to come back into that pyramid pose. So if you straighten that front leg, bring the back leg so it's less distance apart. And what we'll do with the arms here is if you have the capability, so the easiest one here is just to bring the palms together with the fists touching each other. The next level would be to grab onto your elbows. And the last variation would be if you can do Anjali Mudra behind you, keeping it there. So whichever one is more comfortable for you. So I'm keeping them in prayer pose, taking a deep inhale, lifting your chest open. And on the Exhale, fold forward. Again, just inhaling and lengthening. Exhale and folding. We'll just stay here for a few deep breaths. This is definitely a challenging pose. And then since we're already down here, you can release your arms, bringing them to the floor, coming back into this low lunge. And then from here, we'll finish this vinyasa, bringing the right leg back into plank, coming down 4 limbs or 8 limbs pose, coming into cobra or up dog, all the way back, downward facing dog. And then from here, bend your knees, look between your palms, walk to the front of the mat, halfway lift, all the way down, all the way up, slight back bend, palms back to heart center, and back to Tadasana. So we'll do the same on the left side now. Finding your breath, finding that triangular base of support. Palms back to Anjali Mudra, deep inhale, slight back bend, all the way down, full forward bend, halfway lift, peek up, all the way down, into plank, 4 limbs or 8 limbs pose, cobra or up dog, back up to downward facing dog. Again, this should be getting easier each time we come here, but we'll do that same flow. So just inhaling the left heel high, bringing that left foot into warrior 1, separate railroad tracks. Again, challenge yourself by deepening this pose. That's when the work happens. We don't grow when we're comfortable. We grow when we're uncomfortable. So again, inhaling into cactus arms, straight front leg. Exhaling, coming down. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more, inhale and exhale. And so again, from here, we're going to come into that pyramid pose. So just straightening that front leg, bringing the back leg closer. And then whichever arms or hands was comfortable for you, if it's those palms together, if it's grabbing onto the elbows, or if it's actually coming into prayer behind. Taking a deep inhale, lifting high to the sky, and on the exhale, folding forward. And it may take you a few times to find your pose, but inhale and lengthen that spine. Exhale and fold. Finding that breath. You can use that breath to usually take you deeper in the pose. So as you inhale and lengthen, on that exhale is when you can push. And just challenge yourself, maybe 1 inch closer each time. From here, since we're already down, bringing the arms outside of that left foot into that low lunge. Left leg back into plank. Again, deep inhale, pause, 4 limbs or 8 limbs pose, cobra or up dog, back up to downward facing dog. From here, bend your knees, look between your palms, walk or jump to the front of the mat, coming to a halfway lift, and forward fold, and all the way up to Atita Tadasana, and all the way down into Tadasana. So that was one sun salutation. We'll go into a slight variation next. So I'll just stay on the side again here, coming to the front of your mat. Bring the palms again to heart center. Taking a deep inhale. Slight back bend. Forward fold. Inhale with a halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Coming into plank. Again, 4 limbs or 8 limbs pose. Cobra or up dog. Back up to downward facing dog. Next one here. So let's lift that right heel high again. And this time we'll come into crescent pose. So bring the right leg forward. This time leaving the left heel high, not planting that on the ground. Bringing the arms up. Again, for more of a challenge, again, just deepen that pose. Trying to keep that back leg as straight and strong as possible. Finding that breath. And from this crescent pose, what we'll do is we'll now plant that left heel down, straighten that front leg, and then we're going to come into a revolved triangle here first. So if you can lower that right arm to the right thigh and the left arm down. If you want, you can use a block here. If you want to challenge yourself, you can bring it to the outside of the right foot. And then when you're ready, bring that right arm up on top. So both legs should be straight here. This is a very challenging pose. Again, today is meant for a challenge. You can always bring that right arm back into a bind. When you look up, you have that lifting energy up. Take a few deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, let's come into the normal triangle pose. So if you want to move the block back to the inside of the right foot, bringing the right arm down and the left arm up. Again, like you're being pulled between the floor and the ceiling. That pushing and pulling. This is what people had to go through to get change. When they're faced with resistance, who are those that actually get out of it? What can we do to become those people? Just connecting with the breath here. And then from here, we'll just finish this flow again. So bringing both arms down to the ground, coming into that low lunge. Right leg back into plank, 4 limbs or 8 limbs pose, cobra or up dog, back up into downward facing dog. And this should feel better each time, feel more relaxing each time we do it. From here, bend your knees, look between your palms, and again, walk or jump to the front of the mat. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale all the way back up. Slight back bend. Palms back to heart center and down to your sides. So we'll do the same thing again on the left side. Palms back to Anjali Mudra. Deep inhale. All the way down, swan dive. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Coming into plank. 4 limbs or 8 limbs pose. Cobra or up dog. Back up to downward facing dog. So this time on the left side again, lift that left heel high behind you. Exhale, bring it forward. Coming into that crescent pose again, making sure that right heel is high off the floor. For more of that challenge, deepen the pose. Relax those shoulders. Connect with your breath. That right leg should be strong behind you. Are you lowering down 1 inch on those exhales? Today's meant for challenging ourselves. From here, let's come into that revolved triangle pose. So bringing that right heel onto the mat, straightening that front leg, and then this time bringing the left arm to the left hip, and then taking the right arm, if you can, to the outside of the left foot. If that's too much, you can bring it to the inside. And then, again, if you have it in the practice, bringing that left arm up to the ceiling, looking towards it. Opening up your chest, opening up your shoulders. And then, of course, it's that smile that always tops off the pose, because whatever you're doing, you're proud of it. You do it with ease, you do it with grace. Who are the leaders that you remember? Those that got work done, but did it with humility, with a smile. And from here, we'll come back into regular triangle pose. So revolving those arms can bring the block back to the inside of the left foot. Bringing the right arm up. Again, like you're being pulled between the sky and the ground. And then if that's comfortable, you can always bring the right arm into a bind. You can bring that palm to the inside of the left thigh. And then when ready, bring the arm back up. And then bring the right arm down. Back to the outside of the left foot, coming down into a low lunge. And then from here, let's finish this flow. Left leg back into plank. Again, 4 limbs or 8 limbs pose. Cobra or up dog. All the way back up. Downward facing dog. Much easier to get your heels down. Imagine that V shape. You can wag the tail. And then from here, again, bending the knees, looking between the palms. Walk or jump back to the front. Coming to a halfway lift. All the way down. And then all the way reverse swan dive. And palms back to heart center. And down to your sides. So we'll do one more flow. And I'm going to face the front this time. And we'll go into a hip hamstring flow from here. So again, just coming to the front of your mat. Palms together, heart center. Deep inhale, bringing the arms up. Exhale, swan diving down. Coming to a halfway lift, peek up. Exhale all the way down. Again, inhale and pause. And on the exhale, coming down. 4 limbs or 8 limbs pose. Cobra or up dog. All the way back up. Downward facing dog. So this time what we'll do is, again, just inhale this right leg high behind you. Open up that right hip just to get some space here. And take a few circles. Again, just drawing with that knee here. And then when you're ready, bring that right leg between your hands into this low lunge. And then what we'll do to really test our hips and hamstrings is on the inhale, come up, flex that right leg. And on the exhale, coming back down into that lunge. So if it's too difficult without your blocks, you can always use the blocks on both sides to get more leverage. Otherwise, let's do this a few reps. So again, inhale, coming up, flexing that right foot. Exhale, back to a lunge. 3 more times. Inhale, straightening that front leg, flexing that front foot. Exhale, back to a lunge. And then again, last time, inhale, flexing that front leg. And exhale. So back into this low lunge. And what we'll do here to open up our hips is we're going to go into the lizard pose. And so what we'll do from here is if you bring the right arm that's on the outside of the right foot to the inside. So both arms are over to the left side of the right foot. This is another pose where if this is comfortable and this is challenging, you can stay here. Otherwise, you can also use a block. But if you want, you can come all the way down to the ground onto your elbows, starting with the outside elbow and the inside elbow. If it's too challenging to leave your back leg straight, you can bring that knee to the ground. You can use the block here, but imagine that lizard. Really just opening up the hips, opening up the groin area. Again, inhaling and lengthening here, that spine. And on the exhale, you can fold forward. Again, just melting away You can use gravity here to bring you down. Connecting with the breath. Deep inhales and deep exhales. So from here, the block, you can remove it. Again, coming back into that low lunge, lifting that back leg straight. And we'll finish, we'll come into downward facing dog here. And just as a quick counter stretch to that lizard pose, let's sit down into child's pose, bringing your hips between your heels and stretching forward. And let's come back up here to downward facing dog. And then from here, bend the knees, look between your palms, and walk or jump to the front of the mat, coming to a halfway lift and down. And then inhale, arms all the way back up and back to heart center. So we'll do the same thing on the other side, on the left side. So again, deep inhale, bringing the arms up. Exhale, all the way down. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, coming down. This time, let's step forward with the left foot and the right foot. Again, 4 limbs or 8 limbs pose. Cobra or up dog. All the way back up. Downward facing dog. So this time, let's inhale the left heel high behind you. Again, open up that hip. And then again, drawing those circles with your knees to create some space as we go into that lizard pose. You can take these circles in both directions. And then when you're ready, left leg into that low lunge. And then again, we'll take that hip hamstring flow. So on the inhale, come up, left toes high, flexing. And on the exhale, coming down into the lunge. Again, inhale, flexing that left foot. Exhale, coming into the lunge. 2 more times. Deep inhale, flexing that left foot. Exhale and lunge. And 1 more time. Inhale, flexing the left foot. And on the exhale, coming down. Back to the lunge. And so again, we're going to take lizard pose next. So bringing your left arm over to the right side. So both of your palms are to the right side of the left foot. If you can, keep that back leg straight behind you. If you need to modify, you can bring that right knee on the ground. And then again, if you want to stay here, you can. If you want to come down onto your elbows, you can. And if you want to use a block, you can do that. Again, just finding that edge for you. Connecting with the breath. Deep inhales and deep exhales here. And then from here, when you're ready, bring the palms back up outside of that left leg, coming back into that low lunge, stepping the left foot back into plank. Again, 4 limbs or 8 limbs pose, cobra or up dog, back to downward facing dog. And then again, just to counter the lizard pose, let's come into the child's pose. Feeling this stretch. Reaching out as far as you can in front of you. Always the best move to come to if you're feeling too challenged and need a break. This is a very good move to come back to rest and reset. So from here, we'll come back to downward facing dog. And then from here, just bend the knees, look between your palms, walk or jump to the front of the mat, coming to a halfway lift, all the way down, and then bringing the arms reverse swan dive all the way up and back to heart center and down to your sides. So we're going to come into some balancing poses next. So we'll start slow with tree pose, Vrikshasana. So I think we all have done this before. The goal here is not to put any lateral pressure on your knee. So you can start in this kickstand, leveraging your toe for balance. You can bring the sole of your foot, so with your right foot, onto your left calf. And then the last option here is to bring this sole of your foot all the way to your left thigh. When you're ready, bring your palms together. Find that gaze in front of you. And then when you're ready, lift those branches, your arms out like a tree. Again, smile. Relax those shoulder blades. And just connect with your breath here. You know, a lot of people can do this easy. So adding that smile, adding that gaze. And then if you want, you can stay here. But again, since the goal of today is to challenge ourselves, let's do a few things. So let's start with tree pose. So if you want to just bring your hands back to your hips. And then let's grab with left arm, grab onto your big toe, right big toe, and see if you can. So you can also just bring it here into you, as close as you can to your chest. But if you want to challenge yourself, left hand to the right big toe, and see if you can extend, and you can fall out as long as you come right back. So just trying to extend that right leg in front of you. Trying to straighten that standing leg, straightening that balancing leg. Let's choose to challenge. Slowly release. So we're going to do the same on the left side. So just start with the basic tree pose, finding your balance here. And then again, starting with the left leg. So you can use that foot as a kickstand here with the left toe. You can bring the left sole to the calf of the right leg, or you can bring it up to the right thigh. When you're ready, bringing the palms together, finding that gaze in front of you, finding that balance, and then when you're ready, opening up your arms. Smiling, proud of everything you have done and that you will do. And then again, let's try to go into extended tree pose here. So bringing the arms back to your hips. You can stay there. You can bring this left knee towards your chest, or you can take the right hand, grab onto the left big toe, and then extend that left leg to the best of your ability. And the more you do it, the better you'll get. We all have different proportions, so it doesn't matter the way we look. It matters the sensations that we're feeling in our body. One side will always be easier or harder than the other. Again, just finding that breath. If your leg is shaking, that's okay. That means everything's working. And then slowly back to the center and release. So just quickly, if you come onto the balls of your feet and then your heels, just to stretch out our feet, stretch out our toes. So I learned one pose earlier this week from Rama, for those of you that were on that class. And I thought this would be a great pose for us to work on this week. Again, just choosing to challenge. So it's called the toe stand, which is Padang Stasan. And so what we're going to do is similar to the tree pose. If you want to take your right leg, and if you can imagine that figure 4 here, so it's really a half lotus pose or a figure 4. So you can bring your palms together to heart center, and you can bend that left knee. And if this is challenging here, you can stay here. But what we're going to do to actually stretch out our foot and use some muscles that we typically don't use or flex. So when you're ready, if you want to slowly bring your fingers to the ground, and then folding forward, coming onto your left toe and sitting back. So bring the arms to the outside of both of your feet. Again, you can see this figure 4 or half lotus. This is really very good for your foot or for your feet to stretch them out here. So bringing some attention to parts of your body we don't usually stretch out in this way. So you can stay here, or if you can challenge yourself, bring your palms together. This is very challenging, but a very good goal. And then from here, just like how we came into it, put your fingers in front of you, coming back up onto the full left foot, bringing the palms back to heart center and releasing. So we'll do the same pose on the left side. Again, I know very challenging, but that's the goal of today. So again, coming into that figure 4 on the left side, into this half lotus. Palms together to Anjali Mudra. Coming down, sinking down almost into that chair pose. And then again, you can stay here, or if you want to keep going, bringing the palms down in front of you, coming onto that right ball of your foot. So again, stretching out that left foot this time. You can bring your palms to the outside of both legs. And then if you feel like you have balance or you just want to try, bringing the palms to heart center. It's very hard and challenging, but it's worth trying. And it's a good goal to have. Again, just finding that breath. And then bringing the palms back to the front of the mat. And just like we came into it, coming down on the full right foot. Coming back up. And release. So your feet should be very well stretched out. From here, let's come all the way onto the ground. We're going to come into a boat pose next. So just coming to a 45-degree angle here. So you're keeping your feet planted on the mat. And then just releasing back far enough where you feel your core engaged. From here, if you want to challenge yourself more, bring your feet up. And what we're going to do here is interlock your fingers and now just pretend you're rowing a boat. So alternating your legs one at a time, twisting over to each side. So let's go for a count of 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Grabbing onto your knees, lift your chest, and then when you're ready, coming all the way down and just rolling onto your bellies. What we'll go into next is called Shalabhasana, or you may know it as locust pose or Superman pose. So we'll start here in just a gentle, almost Sphinx position. This should feel really good on the lower spine, feeling that arch after a couple of those postures we did. But then if you want to lower all the way down to the ground here, so bring your palms behind you, and they should be flat on the ground. And so again, if you imagine that Superman pose, on the inhale, you want to lift your chest and your shoulders, then lift your legs behind you. And then if you have it in you, lift those arms. And you should be breathing up here. Don't hold your breath. Deep inhales and exhales. And if you can here, interlock the fingers behind you. Again, opening up those shoulder blades. And then from there, coming into Superman, bringing the arms all the way in front of you. Deep inhales and exhales here. And then relax, taking a crocodile pose. The heels in together, using your palms as a pillow over to one side. Deep inhales and exhales here. And then just to counter this locust pose, let's come back into child's pose. Again, sitting between your heels. And then from here, let's come back onto your bellies. We'll take that same locust pose one more time. So again, bringing the palms down on the ground, flat. And on the inhale, lift your chest, lift your shoulders. When you're ready, lift your legs up behind you. And the last things to lift will be your arms. Finding your breath here, deep inhales and exhales. If you can, interlock the fingers behind you, opening up those shoulder blades. And from there, bringing the arms out to the sides, to the front. Superman, you're flying. And then when you're done, taking a resting crocodile pose over to the other side. Again, taking deep breaths, inhales and exhales here. And then again, to counter this pose, let's come back up and lift all the way back into child's pose. And so from here, another challenging pose, what we'll do is we'll come into a side plank. So just coming onto one side, bringing the right elbow directly underneath your right shoulder blade. If it's too much to bring both legs directly on top, lifting your hips, you can always bend that bottom leg, bend the knee. You can always bring the left leg in front of that right leg. But when you're ready, lift that left hip. If you can lift that left arm. And let's just hold here for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And if you can bring your arm behind your ear, we'll take a few crunches here. Again, just coming down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back down, we'll switch sides here. Again, coming onto that left elbow directly underneath the left shoulder. When you're ready, if you can push those right hips up, bringing the right arm to the right hip. If you can, lifting that right arm high. If you look towards it, it's another challenge. And again, just holding, pushing that hips up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right arm behind the right ear and 5 crunches. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back down, and again, taking child's pose here to counter these stretches. From here in the child's pose, so let's bring both arms over to the right side of your mat. Feeling this great stretch on the left side of your body. Finding that breath. We'll start winding down now. Notice how your breath is different from where we started the class. And then from here, walk both arms over to the left side of the mat. Feeling that stretch on the right side of the body. And then from here, we'll take one last pose before we come down onto our backs. So we're going to come into camel pose, and I learned recently that this is called an anti-aging pose. So one that I think we'll all want to do for many years to come. So let's just lift our bodies high, bringing your hands onto your hips. You can either fold the toes underneath you or lay them flat. You know, it's more challenging to fold the toes. But again, if you want to stay here, just lifting your body high, coming into a slight back bend, you can stay there. If you want to challenge yourself more, you can inhale high, and then on the exhale, bring either one arm back to the heels or both arms. So as you lift high and push your hips forward, on the exhale, you come lifting high and back, and you can gently lower the head. Should be a very good, again, shoulder opening. Deep breaths here, inhales and exhales. And then slowly, one arm at a time, with your head first lifting high. You can bring your arms back to your hips. And then as the last counter stretch, one more deep child's pose. From here, let's wind down the class, just coming onto our backs. Bringing the knees together, giving yourself a gentle hug and rock from side to side. We'll do one more supine twist before we take Shavasana. So just bringing the left leg out in front of you, grabbing onto that right knee, bringing it over to the left side, bringing the right arm out, looking towards it, trying to keep that right shoulder blade on the ground, keeping that left leg engaged in front of you, and just again melting away into the pose. And then from here, let's do the opposite side. So bringing both knees back to center, towards your chest, gently lowering that right leg towards the ground, bringing the left knee over to the right side, and then the left arm out, looking towards it. So again, trying to bring that left knee as far as you can to the ground while still keeping the left shoulder blade down, the right leg straight in front of you. And just finding that breath, deep inhales and exhales here. And from here, lo and behold, our favorite relaxing pose, heels in together, toes out towards both corners of the mat, palms facing up, and just relax, taking in everything we did for the last 90 minutes. It's always good to take a long shavasana, but without time, let's come into the fetal position, turning onto the right side. And from here, when you're ready, just to use one arm to bring you back up to sitting, exactly where we started. And then again, to just close out this time from the rest of your day, let's end this class with one chant of the mantra Om. So bringing the palms together, taking a deep inhale. So today and every day, let's honor all of those smart, hardworking, kind, hilarious, compassionate women in your lives and really challenge ourselves to more change. The light within me honors the light within you. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. And again, I choose to challenge. I hope you do the same. Happy International Women's Day. Namaste.